Hi, this is Amy Fitzgerald. I'm here with vlog number 6. I just want to share a cool experience I had. It helps me kind of put some of the puzzle pieces together on my experience. I am going to kind of talk about the part of me that is an empath and the things I've discovered along that path, and that the fact that it can feel like a punishment and it can feel like a superpower. And I feel both of those extremes all the time until I learn some more mastery, and then it becomes a little bit more of superpower than punishment. But it truly is a gift. So, I'm learning to love it as that. So anyway, I went to the gym a few weeks ago, and I was fine. I was neutral. I was like not necessarily happy, but peaceful. I was peaceful and enjoying my workout. And then all of a sudden I realized like something felt different, and I felt grief. And it was really strange because I didn't feel grief, and nothing had happened in between the time I went into the gym and that 15-minute time increment. And I mentioned it to my trainer, and she said, "Oh, that's funny because there were 2 ladies standing right here yesterday who were grieving the presidential election." And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of cool because they left an energy footprint of grief right there in that spot, and I walked through it. And because I was in neutral, I could experience it differently, right? I could tell that it wasn't my grief, but that it in fact was grief. I think there's actually a Bible verse about like where 2 or more are gathered, and I know it says in my name, but it's one of those things that I think that we can add power to something. And in this case, these ladies were grieving together, made that maybe a more intense experience that I walked through. Perhaps it's just one person, it might be kind of foggy, but to me, the more people you get together that are having the same experience, you can kind of multiply that. There's something called an egregore or an egregore. I believe that it's an accumulation of people with that they put their energy in one pool, and it kind of creates a being of sorts. So anyway, in this instance, I recognized that the grief was there. I didn't quite have this piece of the puzzle until like a week afterwards, but now when I go back, or I find myself in that same position, I can clear that energy footprint simply by recognizing it. And actually I turn it into fairy dust or pixie dust, because why not? Honestly, rainbow dust, you can turn it into whatever you want. The thing is I don't think anybody needs more grief. And if I can do a service to my planet, to my environment, because I'm walking in that space every day, then why wouldn't I do that? It's not interfering in their lives in a way to help them. Really, I don't even know that they were conscious of it. So that's the interesting part too, is that they probably have no idea they're leaving these footprints anywhere that they are kind of passionate about something. And when, again, a group of people are doing that. So I will turn that into fairy dust, rainbow dust, and send it off out into the universe as more love, right? It's kind of modern alchemy. And it's kind of cool to realize that like when I'm in a neutral position, I have in fact the ability to move forward or backward, or like your car is in neutral. It's easily maneuverable. But from the outside or the inside, it can roll forward, but you have many places to go from that space. So I think that's pretty cool. So in this way, I didn't stay in neutral. Now I go back to the gym and I actively go ahead and clear that space. On a 4th dimensional, I think that's a 4th dimensional maybe representation, on a 3rd dimensional representation, that would look like picking up trash in your neighborhood, right? So like, or in a park or anywhere you go. And I do that. I take whatever I find and I get it to the right spot, because it's my environment I'm walking in and I'm existing in. So I definitely want to do that as often as I can. So what I've noticed is I became aware of this empath piece of myself, And it's like I became awakened to it. And I think everybody has this ability, but I think the older you are, the more blocks you have to some of your sensitivities, because we've all had to build up shields or we have emotional blocks that we've had to kind of get rid of. And in that clearing, then you become like a neutral being again. And the emotions that you feel, you still feel grief or sadness or joy. I mean, honestly, joy is great, but I don't want to experience it 24/7. That would be kind of exhausting. But to notice when it arises and to like really hold it tightly, until it's time for it to let go. And grief is kind of the same way. It's a beautiful emotion. It's so deep and so sacred to feel that it's just really, I don't know, part of the magic of being a human. So the piece of this that I've been noticing is that like a lot of the young adults that we see are all really struggling with some emotional burdens and or emotional sensitivities that a lot of times we don't necessarily understand. And I feel like this is so important to realize that like they weren't born with as many blocks as we are. They came in pure, unconditional, loving children, much like we did. Except if you're, over the age of 40, you probably accumulated a lot of stuff, and it takes an active participation in clearing that out so that you can become neutral as well. But these kids, like I would say 20 and under for sure, but 25, that age range from 25 to 35 is probably kind of in the middle of like the big switch from being empath to being parented by conscious beings. So, I mean, I just think about the implications of any 2 or 3 people being in one spot and unconsciously dropping their emotions all over the place. And, what high schools are like, what middle schools are like, and all the things that young adults go through, and the disconnect and the hormones and the sadness. And I mean, clearly we're seeing it with as many young adult suicides as we have. So there is an issue. But our part we can do to help is our consciousness. It's like, even if you don't recognize yourself as an empath, can you recognize the moments where you just drop your emotions everywhere, and we don't pick up after ourselves. So I actively, like mentally in my mind is my active state of energy clearing. It's like, how do we do that? Some people use, you can use a rainbow tornado. Rainbow energy to me has the elements of everything known and unknown. So I don't really have to identify the emotions. I just have to let it move around me and remove everything that's not mine. This is a really good clearing to do for myself or for you. If you just, or come up with your own, what is the best possible way you can think of clearing your energy field? And, really think about this COVID thing and like everybody being 6 feet apart. I mean, I believe the energy field is 6 feet out around us. And to me, that's a really important thing to like get really clear on what is your energy and what is somebody else's energy. And man, is that freedom, because that's all we got to do. We got to just claim our own sovereignty, our own expression, our own experience. And when we know so much about what that looks like, the second we move out of that, we can take action and do what would put us back into a more peaceful alignment. I'm not going to lie, it's taken me 6 years of healing to remove the blocks to be able to get to this place. But like I said, I just think the young adults, for sure 20 and under, are the ones who were born openly empathic and openly sensitive to things they couldn't understand. And an empath to me is somebody who is almost like your psychic ability is that of like emotional awareness, right? Like, or not kind of what the right word, but like clairvoyance would be clear seeing, and somebody who's clear. Who is an empath would be emotionally psychic. So anyway, sorry that they're just picking up on the emotional debris that's around them. And they, again, don't always know that it's not theirs. So anything we can do, again, to help as adults, help our young adults to feel better about themselves. A lot of it is helping them clear that. It's clearing our own stuff. It's clearing the stuff that you're around. So when you weren't in a good mood and then all of a sudden you walk into something that doesn't feel like a good mood, do your best to figure out if that's yours or another person's, and can you take yourself back to neutral. So it's just really kind of a cool tool, I think, if you find yourself out of sorts, because I don't think that's our natural existence. And really, honestly, when we think about the earth as a physical being and us as energy beings, and she is an energy being, like with the Civil War, for instance, that's an energy footprint that was left on our earth unless it's actively cleared. So anytime I go somewhere, I will start to remember to listen to that, to feel that, and to not reject the feelings, right? Because it gets uncomfortable. But to go to any place you can and clear it, like actively come up with like anything you can think of, rainbow waterfalls, rainbow tornadoes, fairy dust, a beautiful snowstorm that might purify it or whatever. There's just so many ways. I just like to not send it back to the person and not leave it there, but to really choose to do something proactively, whether it's energetic or physical, and like cleaning up the litter, cleaning up my home, cleaning up my diet, cleaning up the things I watch, cleaning up the people I spend time with. All of those are really kind of important in making sure that you stay in your neutral position, because especially as an empath, you can get so open and so close with someone, and it may be their reality you're more connected with than your own. So anyway, really important stuff, and I'm learning to master it more and more. So anyway, hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will check back in later. Bye.